I need to drop this down here too. Then I'll place this here into my bed. Then I'll pull these stitches through here. That way they can all be the same size. You just pull across and pull these down. I mean, if I had all the key plates made, I could replace that with a large key plate, but I just as soon do it this way. Take this piece of cardboard, move it on the other side of the bed. Here, I need to include this here in my clip, so it's not all loose and hanging there. Okay, put the little piece of cardboard on this side, and do the same thing with these stitches here. Since the cardboard's not as white as the needles that are cast on, I have to move it to the other side once I get about halfway across here. When I get hooked into the... Move it across now. Kind of a slow process, but it looks pretty good when you get done. And you can take it off the machine and do this when you're all done. Okay, I'm all done with that. I'm using this tension mask, but I'm not using the tension part of it. I'm just using it this time to keep the stuff out of the way. It does change the size of your stitches when you use a tension mask. You don't have to take up the slack, but then you kind of have to make sure that the first and last stitch doesn't get too small, because it does kind of affect that. So, I don't know. You either have to, even now, it's still affecting it in some way. I made it 2 rows. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to do a few rows of a really simple lace pattern, because it makes a nice scalloped edge. It's a little tricky though to transfer stitches on the riverbed. It almost takes more weight than normal. No, wait, which way do I have to do this? No, let me add some extra weight under here. So really, it's easier to transfer stitches when there's more weight on them. Put extra claw weight under here. So I gotta move. No, gotta move the end stitch over to the second needle. Then I gotta move 2 last needles over by 1. Makes this kind of a scalloped edge. Okay, then this needle here is the center, and then it's the 4th needle after this empty one. Gets moved over here, and both of them get moved over by 1 needle. It's a lot easier to transfer stitches on a single bed machine, because you can help the stitches on the needles with your fingers, but here you don't have enough room to get your fingers in there, so you can't really do it that way. That's why you pretty much need extra weight. And here I dropped one anyway. That does happen. Okay, here. This is in the middle again. So then 4th. Just go here. And both go 1 over. This is double, so this has to go to the next needle. So these go towards the center. It's normally done with 3 transfers, but I'm only doing 2. in this last stitch. Let's move in, and then the last two get moved out to the next one here. And we're going to do 2 repeats of this. See, this last one, you almost have to help it onto this last knit because it's just so, the direction it takes is just so different than normal. It's just pulled across so much, and it's much harder to do. And I'm going to do this side here. So you really need extra weight. And both of these, this in this direction. Helps if you bring all the needles forward enough just to open their latches. Let's see. This has to go there. These two go in this direction. This goes here. Those two go towards the center. And there's your single needle again, which means this one has to go first. And these two go over here. Towards this direction. That's a single needle. And these two go towards the end. And probably I'll have to help this one to get on this needle here. Okay. The easiest way is to just push them all forward on the empty needles. Just on this one pass. Open all the latches. Push them back. And you can check. If you push a ruler down here like this, you can see if you've got one that's closed. Okay. Make that pass. Now, before you knit the next one, do the same thing over there. Shows back down and just kind of check if there's any that aren't open. There's one here closed. Until, okay. Now they're all there. I need to hit the next pass. And you knit this row, and then one more row. And you do another set of transfers. And after you do that, you just keep knitting straight until you get to the end, and then you can do 2 more sequences of lace. I'm not going to show you all that because it'd be too boring. So here we'll do all the transfers again. Knit 2 more rows, and then just knit back and forth for about 30-40 rows. Do some more transfers, and then knit 1 last row with larger stitches manually, and then knit some rows of waste yarn. So I'll do that, and then I'll be back.